Hey guys, Jay here. Disclaimer. This is purely speculation. This is purely based on what we know so far and what we know from the previous leak. And yes, this is a very controversial video to normally make. A lot of people don't like it. A lot of people like it, especially new people who care about having like a safe choice for league start. So this is going to be my tier list for the Ascendancy classes of the upcoming patch 0.3. Again, disclaimer, this is based on my experience and my knowledge about the previous league and also the balance changes that they have done on the class that we know of in the patch note. So it cannot be 100% true, but hopefully it will be like at least 80 to 90% true. Previously, I made a list of all these classes based on the Ascendancy information. Apparently, I would say at least 70% of it was correct. I was wrong about the Ritualist. Ritualist, I think, is shit, but apparently there are some strong build with it, but I don't think it will ever be meta. But to be fair, right, I did say that Ritualist is just a very expensive class because it has more item slot, means more money to spend. Of course, it means more power as well, but hey, I would take an L there. So at least this is the standout example of me being wrong. Other classes might go like up and down a rank or something, but mostly like the S tier and the F tier classes are true. Chayula Monk was the F tier last time. This time, well, spoiler alert, it is not, I think. So anyway, let's just get to the actual tier list this time. Hopefully, again, it will help some of the people who are relatively new to the POE2 game here to have a certain idea of which class can be a safer choice if you don't want to re-roll, or you worry that you might be falling off the meta, or you don't have a good first character and then you will just maybe basically leave the game because of that. So here, number one safest choice, Deadeye. Deadeye has been notoriously good already, to the point where right now it is pretty much a meme. It is Deadeye. Deadeye, play Deadeye. With the current patch nerfing the warrior quite a lot of people has been having a red text here say play Deadeye on their stream. So Deadeye, again, just insanely strong because it has a lot of speed, it has quite a lot of damage, so very safe class. And actually it is more like suitable for a lot of builds that is not just bow, right? You can play spear, you can play a grenade, I mean, not grenade, you can play crossbow, and even some projectile spells as well. You can play as a Deadeye. So I think Deadeye is, no doubt, is going to be an S tier class this time, if not the strongest class. The only thing that is relatively close, I think, will be Blood Mage. So it's the same two class that is the strongest previous patch. They should be, among the strongest class this patch as well. The reason being, Blood Mage did get a little bit of nerf in the crit multi. So before we get 1% crit multi for 40 life, now we get 1% crit multi for 50 life, which means you lose 20% of the value for that particular ascendancy node, which is the main damage scaler of the Blood Mage. And then also you lose the ignore physical mitigation on crit. But, there is a very big buff to the Mage Blood. And now you have basically plus 2 point compared to before. So before, you need to always spend 2 ascendancy point, which is your first ascendant, into Sangumancy, which is the skill that give your spells and everything a life cost. So now that is for free. If you play the class and you ascend it to the class Blood Mage, you will have that by default. So that means you have 2 more ascendancy points compared to before to spend on stuff that you want. So a very cookie cutter setup for Blood Mage for any spellcaster is going to be taking the 2 crit node, which is 1 crit multi, and then the other one is base crit chance for spell is 15%, which is extremely strong. And then you can take the life leech, the spell leech life node, which is really strong for sustain, and then the other one node of the choice, depending on what build you are going to take. So I think Blood Mage is just going to be generally really strong next patch as well. That is my opinion on the 2 S tier class that is quite obvious, right? So Chayula Monk, I want to touch on this class first before I put it in F tier over here, right? But right now, with all the changes, I would like to think probably it is going to be either A or B tier. So right now, Chayula Monk got a lot of the clunkiness of the class and a lot of the stuff that doesn't make sense of the class actually removed and actually changed into something else. And one particular thing that I want to highlight about this Chayula Monk class is going to be the volatility, the interaction with volatility. So you are going to be able to gain a volatility stack when you ignite, chill, shock, or apply any elemental ailments to enemy, and you gain 1 volatility. 1 volatility gives you 3% extra damage as chaos, and you can gain a lot of it. You can gain a lot of it. In the gameplay reveal in the GG live stream, we already see a Chayula Monk with a lot of purple orb just floating around the character. They are just volatility charges. So potentially, I think just from that one node, we can actually get a lot of damage to the point where Chayula Monk is actually a pretty safe choice for this patch. So I would take the wild guess and put it actually in A tier this time. Please take it with a grain of salt, but I think it probably can be A tier and people can actually figure out a bunch of very cool build with it, right? Next class, because we already touched on the Chayula Monk, we have to take a look at the other monk. Well, I think the Invoker is pretty much untouched. So there will still be a bunch of strong Invoker build that is still strong. So people who plays previously like Flicker Strike is probably going to have the same build if they want to. But again, it also have another thing that is having a lot of synergy with this class, which is the Hollow Palm Technique Keystone. We still need one other piece of information for the Hollow Palm Technique to actually know if it is going to be good or not, which is how much base damage the skills are going to gain when you take the Hollow Palm Technique. So it is also either B or A tier for me. I would probably want to put it in A tier. The reason being is I kind of want to start this class, so I want to keep my hope that this class is going to be good. So I would just put this one in A tier. And again, Quarterstaff, from the look of the patch note, I don't think Quarterstaff got touched that much compared to other stuff. So I think Quarterstaff should still be playable for most build. And then you also have a new route for playing your monk or traditional monk character with the Invoker as the new Hollow Palm Technique, which is the unarmed archetype. So I do think a lot of people is going to try out this class this time due to the fact that it has much easier access to Hollow Palm due to the positioning in the skill tree, and also it has a lot of natural synergy with stacking energy shield and evasion. So if a lot of people plays it, chances are people will figure out how strong a lot of strong interaction and strong build with the class, and therefore it should make the class really kind of safe, right? So A tier, another one. Another thing I would like to put in A tier this time. Last time I put this one very low, but this time I would like to put it in A tier for compensation, because this class basically just got buffed a little bit, and the main power source of this class is untouched. So any build that is strong previously with Ritualist is going to be strong or even stronger, especially if you play the AFK build, which is kind of expensive. The AFK build, the Corrupted Blood AFK build by Lazy Exile, you should have a lot of good time with this one here. So I will put this one in A tier. The only problem with this class is just the price tag. So you need good item for this class to actually shine. But with the new trading system, I think it is much easier to buy decent gear and sometimes even snipe very good gear, especially rare good gear. So potentially this class should have a lot easier time in playing a lot of build. And one other thing is this class kind of is suitable for playing any build really. So yeah, Ritualist I think should be an A tier this time. Chronommancer, I would like to put this one in the B tier. maybe even in the C tier. The problem is not the power of the class. The problem is the playstyle of the class is still very, very niche. We will always see a build or two that just like freeze time and one-shot the boss, or just kill the boss during that duration of time freeze of like 5-10 seconds or something. I think we will always see that. But it will just always be that. The class is not kind of like designed for general mapping gameplay. It doesn't have really any perks for general mapping gameplay that is standing out compared to other classes. So I do think I should be putting this one in the C tier here, right? Sorcerer. Sorcerer here is very hard to think because I think the class here kind of lost the identity of its of the class compared to the previous patch. But it gained something entirely new, which is a lot of interaction with the new elemental remnant or elemental infusion mechanic. So now all the elementals, not all, but a lot of the elemental skill, elemental spell skill, actually have very, very like neat interaction with one another, with the remnant that they can they can create. And this class create a lot of remnant. So I do think potentially that can be A, if the remnant bonuses is good enough, or else it can be B. So to be safe, I would like to put Sorceress in B tier. This class probably is the highest chance that I will get this one wrong. It could be a lot better if the it can be a lot better if the remnant, the elemental remnant, is going to be good. But I will put it in B tier for now because it is in the middle. We don't have enough information, sufficient information to actually know if it is good or bad. So I will just put it in the middle here. Right. Another one, I would like to talk about the Lich. So the Lich, I would like to put it in A tier again. This is a very, very stable class. I don't think it has its power level changed that much from the patch note compared to previously. It will be a pretty smooth class to start out as your first character. And by the end, the only thing that is a little bit lacking for this class is speed. So there is a lot of damage potential for the class, for even minion build and also for self-cast or self-damage dealing build. But this class, I think it is the safe choice, but the end game potential, it cannot be like compared to the other two classes here, which have much higher ceiling in my opinion, especially in terms of like speed and just run around. This one does not really have a lot of speed, but it has very, very nice synergy for being just a generally best class caster in the game. So this one, the Titan. This is probably my favorite class due to the hulking form node. But well, I would like to really put it in A tier. Reason being, hulking form. Hulking form is still the same, right? So we have 150 additional notable added into the passive skill tree, which means we also have a lot of small nodes leading to those notable, leading to those new points. So we have a lot of new stuff that we didn't know about yet, what they are. And this thing can potentially, if there is anything that is strong in the batch of the new nodes that is coming into the passive tree, the Titan is going to be the one that can capitalize on those nodes. And it is a source of a lot of cool unique build that you can stack a bunch of cooldown, you can stack a bunch of reduced duration, you can stack a bunch of niche stat that normally you would not do on any other classes in the game. So this class always enable a lot of cool things. I am really, really fond of this particular dude, the Titan. So this is very biased, but I will put it in A tier. But I think, realistically, the power level should be like in B tier here. Right? But I really like it, so I put it here. Again, this is my tier list. This is my opinion, so deal with it. Warbringer. I would like to put this one in B tier. I think this is a pretty good decision, pretty easy decision for me good or not, we never know. This class is still a little bit limited. It has a very clear identity on what it can do in the class ascendancy. So other than doing the stuff that is designed to do with the class, which is totem, and you have a little bit of block, and then you have a little bit of tank in the Jade warrior, and then you have the armor brick. So it is quite limited if you think about like build idea that you can do with the Warbringer. So because there's not a lot of build that you can do with it, given that it can be strong, by the way. But if none of those like limited builds actually perform well enough, the class is actually weak. So I do think that totem, with the theme of this patch being around the Karui tribe, so a warrior should be decent. So I don't think the totem is going to be weak. However, the nerf to Giant Blood also affect this class a lot. Unlike the Titan, which you can just build a lot of other build, because you can always do the hulking form, which take 4 point, and then you can do the heavy stun stuff, which you can heavy stun enemies with any skill, any type of damage in the game. It doesn't need to be a melee skill, it doesn't need to be a physical damage. Unlike the Warbringer is much more limited. So I would like to put it in the B tier here. Maybe, even down here, the C tier, because it is kind of the same as the Chronommancer. But I think, yeah, you know what? I would just put it on the same tier as the Chronomancer. These two classes kind of have the same problem. They have a very clear identity, but outside of those, there's not much you can do with the class, or I can be done. Right? Again. Well, the last warrior is going to be the Smith of Kitava. I think the Smith of Kitava probably is a little bit more universal compared to the Warbringer, but it got nerfed quite a bit, actually. Not directly, but indirectly. So we no longer have the Infernal class belt as well, which is the belt that gives you up to 5 or 6% maximum fire resistance. So the max fire rest stacking archetype of the Smith of Kitava is heavily hit. So I think that and the Giant's Blood nerf also means Smith Kitava is probably pretty damn dead. Maybe even worthy of being the F tier here. Well, you know what? Let's just put this one in the F tier. Because if you think about it, it lost everything, right? The only thing that is slightly buff is the Manifest Weapon. But the Manifest Weapon is not strong at all in the first place. And it is just teeny tiny buff because of the minion accuracy no longer is needed, so it just got a little bit of attack speed instead. You know what? I would just put this one in the F tier. If you want to make this guy like as tanky and as strong as before, you will need to invest a huge amount into your gear in order to make up for it. So I think, yeah, probably I would just put this one in the F tier. I think this is probably the least attractive class this patch. Even people like Karn, even people like Alkaiser, which previously they all play this, and they say it's shit. So I would like to trust them as well on evaluating on this class. So F tier, the first one. Tactician. Tactician have some potential, but it's unclear. So I will put it in this area. This is also a class that can play with one additional totem. These two classes, the Warbringer and the Tactician, can have one additional totem from their ascendancy, but I think the Tactician is a lot more versatile. It has the pin thing, which is basically applying to everything, and also it has access to gaining deflection based on 20% of your armor or something like that in the ascendancy, as I read in the patch note. So I do think this thing potentially can be better for the Warbringer if you want to play as the totem. Even the melee totem. I think this class is just better. The banner also got changed a little bit. Not a lot of people is familiar with banner. I tried to make a banner character last week. It was not that successful. But with the changes to the banner, I think it can actually be something that is worth using this time around. And this class does have a bunch of perks with banner, so we will never know. I think this class deserves to be in B tier. There's no clear strong build with this class yet, but I think it is versatile enough to do a lot of things in the game. So if you play, for example, a melee build with this class, you will have decent success. If you play a range build, a crossbow, a bow build, a spear build with this class, you should be having something out of the Ascendancy class. So that is what I mean, right? Amazon. I think Amazon should still be A tier. Amazon does get the extra crit chance nerf a little bit. Actually quite a lot, but that is basically the only thing that got nerfed from the class. It still have the weakness, health bar thing. It still have a lot of skill speed and a bunch of damage as well. So I think this class is still going to be like a nerf version of Deadeye. And it's going to be good enough. I think it should be in A tier. It's pretty safe. It helped you cap out your crit early on, and especially right now with the nerf to the Tangle Tongue as well. The Tangle Tongue have much less base crit chance. So that means this class with a bunch of extra crit chance might be a little bit more appealing to the Tangle Tongue. The big thing with the Tangle Tongue, which is the notoriously strong unique item last league with Lightning Spear, is for critical, and that is not changed. So it just nerfed the base crit chance, so it requires a little bit more investment into your critical strike chance so you can cap your crit. But I think that can be a good match for the Amazon here. So if you want to play with the Tangle Tongue, a spear build, then you might consider the Amazon. And of course, other build like bow build, whatever, can also benefit from the all the bonuses, or the speed, or the damage that this class is going to get. But I think it is going to just be outclassed by Deadeye by quite a big margin in the end. So A tier. This one, what is this? I think this is just a basic ranger icon. I think I mistakenly put this one in here, so let's just ignore it. Infernalist. I think with the change to demon form, is you still get your weapon stat, but you lose the +6 to all spells, which normally you can have up to a +5 with your wand, and you can have much more with your like focus and stuff, so you can still have a lot of ES, a lot of level. So in general, I think the class here is buff. And also with the buff to the Pyromantic Pact, I think people can potentially figure out some broken way to do like self damage and then just repeatedly triggering the elemental, what is the spell, the elemental thing, I forgot about it. Maybe in terms of power level right now, I think this class deserves to be an A tier. But because the thing that you can do with this class that is like mainstream normal build, you can do it better with other class like this one, like Blood Mage. So probably I would put it in this tier here. I would put it in like, I would like to put it in middle of A and B, but B tier probably is a good choice for Infernalist here. I like the class, but unfortunately it's just like outclassed by the Blood Mage. In the previous league, I played with Infernalist, and then when I just switch my ascendancy into the Blood Mage, I never go back. It's just straight better for endgame. So yeah, Infernalist, probably B tier. Witch Hunter. I think Witch Hunter is also B tier. Witch Hunter. This one is a Pathfinder. Okay, never mind. I'm stupid. I think the Witch Hunter probably should be B tier. It's still the same pretty much. It does have a little bit of early map clear with the explosion, and sometimes you can do a lot of damage with the first strike thing to a boss. So maybe early on it can be okay, but in terms of like if you play for a couple of days, if you upgrade your gear, it should be like heavily outclassed by if you play like a crossbow, which is designed for this class, by the way. It will always be outclassed by a Deadeye, 100%, and sometimes even outclassed by, if you play grenade, it would be outclassed by the Titan. So this class, I should stick it in B tier. I think it is decent, but again, being outclassed by other classes that is higher here. Pathfinder. Actually, I will put it in A tier. Pathfinder, the longer we get into the previous league, the more we see Pathfinder being played and being a very, very comfy character for a bunch of builds, especially like when you do crossbow build, where you run around. Rutu played a build with a Pathfinder crossbow, and the reduced penalty from the using your skill, right? The reduced movement penalty is very, very huge, very, very noticeable. And then we see like Matho playing a channeling build with the Incinerate, and he also played with the Pathfinder. So I think that bonus is going to be very good, because even though it does not give you any speed for your character while you are actually running, but while you are using a skill, it is a lot of speed. So in general, it helps with clearing, and I think this deserves in A tier. The concoction stuff is changed a little bit, but it is very hard to know if it is good or bad. The damage number seems the same, but the mechanic of all the concoction skill are a little bit different. So we'll need to see in game and see how it goes. The elemental, I think there was the elemental damage reduction node that got buffed pretty heavily as well. So I think Pathfinder deserved to be a pretty safe choice in the A tier here. Not like high A, but pretty, solid in A, regardless. Last but not least, Gemling Legionnaire. Personally, I don't think Gemling is good at all. I think Gemling needs a buff. It deserved to be in either C or F. I would even put it in F tier. Maybe, no, actually not maybe. I'm pretty sure Gemling is very, very much shit right now. The only good thing that I can see in the Gemling Legionnaire ascendancy at the moment is if you use a lot of red gem, you have the option to choose to be immune to crit. So that makes your character actually quite a lot more tanky towards being one shot less often, right? So that is the only good thing that I see in the class. The attribute stacking node is still the same, which is really, really weak, like insanely weak. So I think they should just have some more love to this class, but these two classes right now should be pretty damn bad. So that concludes the whole thing, the whole tier list thingy. So let me know what you think. Am I cooked completely, or am I probably right? So, long story short, these classes are very safe. A class here is also kind of safe, but not as strong as these two probably. And then B tier is okay, but anything down here is very, very niche or just weak. So that is everything. Let me know what you think again in the comment section. And thanks for watching. I hope you enjoy, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.